Marvel kind of got into a bit of a frenzy recently. They've been casting a few things, and they kind of stole my thunder a bit here on this one. So let's just say that whoever they cast as She-Hulk and Kang, that was absolutely who I chose, okay? Ooh, what do we do today? What's up, guys? It's Pieman, and we're on another fancast. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, right, I will set out to cast the entire kind of, well, a lot of extra characters that you might want in Fantastic Four films while I did this. And then they started casting some of them. There's a She-Hulk TV show coming to Disney+, so they cast her, and she was kind of one that is kind of on the periphery, you know, because she has been a member of the Fantastic Four in some comics. So I was going to cast her in this, and I was going to cast Kang the Conqueror as a major, kind of well-known villain who has interacted with the Fantastic Four a lot. And yet they've cast him for Ant-Man 3. So I was, if you're interested, going to have Emmy Raver Lampman from the Umbrella Academy as She-Hulk. I thought that'd be really cool. And Kang the Conqueror, I wanted Luke Evans. Luke Evans would be great. But yeah, I have no problems with either of their casting choices. Really looking forward to both of those projects. Anyway, so it's been requested quite a bit that I look into what the MCU should do with the Fantastic Four and with the X-Men. And boy, these are different kinds of fancasts for me because there's so many online. There's so many people have already kind of looked into these, haven't they? But I kind of thought, well, let's try and put our own spin on it, okay? And yeah, here it is. So Mr. Fantastic, he is the leader of the team. He is the leader of the team. People want John Krasinski. They want John Krasinski and Emily Blunt real bad as Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. And fair enough, I could see it. I don't have a massive problem with either of those, you know. John Krasinski could have been a great Captain America. He probably would be great in this role as well. But I'm not going to cast that because I already feel like they basically have been cast in a way, you know. So I don't want to just follow the crowd on that. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I've got my own ideas though, okay? Frankly, I'm big into the idea of Oscar Isaac as Mr. Fantastic because, oh, Oscar Isaac is great at playing these really smart characters, you know. Didn't really see it in Star Wars as Poe Dameron, but that's the kind of action hero character he can play. And then you've got guys like the Ex Machina guy, who, boy, hopefully a little less creepy as Mr. Fantastic, but absolutely. And shockingly, I kind of thought, is he touching on too old to start playing this role now? No, because Mr. Fantastic is meant to be a little bit older. He's meant to have the grey bits and stuff like that. That's part of his character, you know. And Oscar Isaac surprised me by only being like 41, I think. Which was quite surprising. I thought that was pretty interesting. But absolutely, because the Invisible Woman is meant to be younger than him, and then the Human Torch even younger. So I'm kind of like, yeah, no, a casting about 40 seems about right to me, and Oscar Isaac would be fantastic. Next, then it is the Invisible Woman, and oh my gosh, I would not mind Emily Blunt, you know. But it kind of, throughout the Fantastic Four history, you've really questioned how much of an age gap is there between Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Girl, and frankly, I'm going to guess roughly 10 years. Yeah, it is a decent age gap, you know, and then the Human Torch is her younger brother, so I mean, gosh, it is a wide variety of ages in this team. For the Invisible Woman, I thought through so many names. I thought through so many cool ideas for names. I wanted a bunch of different people that I thought could have worked really well. I'm going to settle on Lily Collins. Lily Collins, she hasn't had any big, you know, like blockbustery kind of roles like this, really. She's done some great stuff, and I really like her, and she's got a very nice mix. I feel like she's the halfway point between, like, Jessica Alba and Kate Mara, okay? So, like, it's kind of between the two styles of Invisible Woman, the more severe style and the more girlish style. Because she is a mixture of those, and I think Lily Collins could play both sides of that very well. Plus, Oscar Isaac, Lily Collins doesn't feel like it's a horrifying age gap or anything like that. Feels pretty sensible, feels fine. That'd be great. Next, then her brother Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Oh yes. The Human Torch is a great character. And he is well known for being this, you know, young, youthful, renegade, kind of idiot asshole, but definitely, yeah. And he kind of, you know, he comes together with the team, and they are able to work together in the end all the time, but, you know, first of all, he's got to go off and be a douche for a while, doesn't he? So basically, I was kind of like, well, how about Dacre Montgomery? Oh yeah, Dacre Montgomery has already played the Red Power Ranger. You want to talk about kind of douchey superhero? And he's done Stranger Things. He was Billy, where he was the asshole who kind of came good at the end. And Johnny is a lot like those kinds of roles, absolutely. And Dacre Montgomery's kind of 4 or 5 years younger than Lily Collins. That seems about right, you know. And you can absolutely imagine him being told off by Oscar Isaac, who's the leader of the team, just going, "For fuck's sake, Johnny!" So absolutely, I love that casting. Next, then it's The Thing, and The Thing is, for me, he was kind of the hardest to cast out of these four, because, like, there are different ways you can do it. You could do it like they did in 2015, cast this kind of skinnier guy. It was Jamie Bell, right? Who doesn't look anything like that. Or you could cast like Michael Chiklis, who's already quite a big, strong guy, you know, and therefore it would kind of seem like, oh, it's so crazy, he's turned into the Rock, but he's kind of still this big, strong guy, you know. I kind of quite like that. I kind of quite liked Michael Chiklis in the role. I thought that worked better than Jamie Bell. I thought that was the best. Well, that was maybe the best casting of any of the Fantastic Four we've seen so far. I kind of think Dominic Purcell would be great for The Thing. Yeah, Heatwave from Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash and Prison Break. Oh my gosh, yeah. He's always played these kind of roles, and especially if you watch like Legends of Tomorrow, he does a great form of this kind of badass who's kind of a loner, but he can be quite funny about it, you know? I feel like he's the best form of actual comedic relief the team has, which makes him sound a bit like a mascot, which is unfair. Obviously, he's such a cool character, and he does get, I feel, short-shrifted a bit in some of these adaptations, because it's kind of like, oh, Ben, oh, he's just sad because he's been transformed into this big rock, you know? But let's, you know, I'd like us to move past that to some cooler, funny stuff with him, you know? I think that'd be great. Next, so that's the team, but there is one other vital person to cast, obviously. It's Doctor Doom. Oh yeah. And Doctor Doom, Julian McMahon, that was an interesting one. Toby Cabell, oh hey, oh ho. They've gone different ways with it. And they've gone different ways with it, but Doctor Doom has always for me been lacking that proper kind of European flair to him that, and it's important. It's important to his character in the comics, because he is, in the comics, the ruler of Latveria, and a European country. So it's kind of important. It's kind of important that he has that, like, you know, European royalty kind of cockiness to him, as opposed to this American businessman cockiness, which is normally what they've gone more for. Yeah, I think Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. And that just seems obvious to me. Like, that seems really obvious to me. Like, fucking Jaime Lannister himself has that royalty to him, and in real life, outside of Game of Thrones, he's got the kind of accent. I can't remember where he is from exactly, but it's European. Oh, it's European. Look at his name. And definitely, I love him for that role. He's so good at that kind of recurring, changing, developing villainous character. That's what Jamie was, and by the end you actually felt sympathetic for him a bit, to Game of Thrones, you know? And it would be like that, you know, Doctor Doom, his relationship with the team, that would change and stuff throughout. Obviously, he kind of is a villain, but sometimes maybe he's not quite so much of a villain. It could be like a Loki character. It absolutely could. Anyway, next. Now, the world of Fantastic Four. I mean, yeah, obviously She-Hulk, Kang the Conqueror, these kind of people. There are a few others that I kind of think, yeah, let's just cast them while we're here, you know? So, obviously, another one who will definitely appear in whatever films they do is Alicia Masters. Yes, Ben Grimm's blind girlfriend. Very important, very important. Then Kerry Washington. In a fairly early role for her, I think, in the 2005 films. And I really liked her for it. I thought she did very well. For me, if they're going to do it today, it should be Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, I like Zoe Kravitz. And obviously she's already going to be Catwoman, but who says she can't play both sides of the aisle? You know, Alicia Masters, she's in the films, but how many scenes does she normally get in? Not a huge number. But I do love her character and that role. And I think Zoe Kravitz has got the right kind of just confident play, even while like blind, to do that kind of role, you know? It's a great role. I really love Alicia Masters, especially in the comics she does. Yeah, anyway. Next, I'm gonna cast Namor. Don't know what they're doing with Namor. I don't honestly know. I assume the rights have reverted back to Marvel, but it was a weird one that I think like Universal or somebody owned Namor and hardly owned anybody else in the whole of Marvel characters. So it was weird. But they never really did anything with it, and thusly, you know, Aquaman has definitely got more well-known, although he probably already was, you know. Namor is a lot like Marvel's Aquaman, but he's not so much of a hero. He's definitely been quite anti-heroic throughout, and it's, you know, he was rumoured for like Black Panther 2 and stuff like that, same as like Kang, he might be turning up in Ant-Man 3 now, but I don't know, I kind of feel like he could equally end up turning up in the Fantastic Four at some point instead. So, Henry Golding. Yeah! I love Henry Golding. And he's kind of, I feel like he's been chomping at the bit, you know? He's been looking, he's been waiting. Something, you know, has got to come up for him because he's so good, he's so talented at that kind of like suave, kind of cocky role that, you know, it's perfect for superheroes. And I think he'd be great at Namor because it is such a torn character, this like King of Atlantis, that, you know, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. He invaded like Wakanda with Atlantis, you know, ruined the country at one stage in the comics, that kind of stuff, you know. Sometimes he gets real mean. So I think Henry Golding would be fantastic at that. He's done so many like romantic roles and things like that. That's kind of, I think he's just waiting. He's just waiting for something like this to come up, you know. Next. Now, if you don't, you know, if you only know the Fantastic Four from their movies or on the surface and haven't read a lot of the comics, then you'll be confused about me wanting to cast the adult son of Reed and Sue. Franklin Richards is kind of complicated. He time travels back to our kind of present day as an adult to get his mum and dad to help him with the end of the world, that kind of stuff, you know. And he's been in a lot of comics at various ages. Yes, he has been as a kid and stuff as well, but he's definitely been around as an adult a fair amount. And I kind of think, yeah, if they're doing the movies at some point, you know, in like the third one or something, they might want an adult Franklin Richards. So I'm going to cast Josh Dillon because I've cast him a couple times in things recently, but he's just great. And I again feel like he's got that stuff to play a kind of superhero role, you know? And Franklin Richards is this kind of young, slightly brash guy. He's got like the qualities of all four of the Fantastic Four members almost in him. But definitely he's the kind of person who, it's this young, handsome guy steps into the picture and he's just great at frickin' everything. And you just kind of go, what? Who is this guy? Where'd he come from? It's crazy. Next. Danny DeVito should be Mole Man. Yeah. Next. So, you know, Silver Surfing Galactus, you know, they did not really need an actor for Galactus last time they did him on screen, did they? No. But for Galactus this time, I'd like them to do him a bit more better times, and I'd like them to get Keith David because what a voice that man has, you know? He's got like the next generation of like James Earl Jones voice, you know? You could cast James Earl Jones, but I think Keith David would be great at it, okay? He's got such a great voice for anything, but for this big, booming, villainous role, which is what I imagine them doing Galactus as in any MCU reboot, you want Keith David. And then finally, I've seen a few castings for this as well. Now I'm going to go for one of the more commonly used ones. The Silver Surfer. Great character. They did fairly well by him, actually, I thought, in the Rise of the Silver Surfer. I liked that movie well enough. It's okay. It was better than the rest, right? I think they should have Keanu Reeves, you know, because he, you know, this silver, immortal-seeming man. Yep, nope. That's full stop under that. Perfect. That is exactly what you want, isn't it? God damn. Keanu Reeves is fantastic. He'd be great at that. You know, there's nothing more to say. That'd be fantastic. And that's all for this fancast, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know what other fancasts you want. I am working through a lot of requests right now. A lot of requests, but I will probably get to them all at some point. There are some that have been suggested for things I haven't seen before, so I am, like, trying to find places to watch them, you know, but anyway, thank you, and please subscribe. Bye!